Yesterday, I was getting some questions from students. I just put it one question. Okay. So the question is, can I write BTCS discretization as shown below? Okay. So let me write like this. So I'm writing like n, and this is I, T, I, n minus 1 delta T is equals to alpha Ti minus 1 minus 2 Ti plus Ti plus 1 and all n. Okay. So yesterday, so can I write like this? The question is, can I write like this? Yeah, please tell me your answers. Because yesterday somebody was saying, sir, backward difference means minus now. Okay. Can I write like this? So this is a backward in time, right? This is backward in time, right? Yes or no? Yes or no? Yeah, I would like to see some more answer. Fazil has given me one answer, yes. Yesterday somebody was asking this question. Ashish B is saying yes. Or Anto. Yeah, few more should respond. Okay, some so it appears that people are likely saying yes. Okay, but to your surprise, I will say it's no. Okay, no. Why not? Okay, so by convention, we always say that n plus 1 is a unknown. Okay, is a unknown. It means that anything below that n plus 1 will be known. So n is a known value. Okay. Similarly, lesser than that, anything below that will be known value. N minus 2 will also be known value. Okay. So in this case, what do we see is that this is also known, this is also known, everything is known. Okay. Such a kind of formulation you cannot do. So what we are doing is, rather than making this we say that this is n plus 1. So plus 1, so just writing n plus 1, this becomes n plus 1, and this n minus 1 plus 1, this becomes n, and this n becomes n plus 1, n plus 1, n plus 1. Okay, so now you see this is still BTCS, but it is expressed in terms of unknown and known. Okay, unknown and known. So now you see there are many unknowns. So you see, you understand this BTCS? Yeah. it is divided by delta x square. It has to be divided. Or you can keep here delta x square. Okay. No, you cannot be forward because we are choosing a scheme which is a BTCS. Okay, we are choosing a scheme which is BTCS. If you take FTCS, then you will have to do in a different way. And then FTCS will be explicit. Okay, you have to understand that. So where you are focusing, okay, now your I is constant, I is fixed, but your focusing point is this. When you are doing implicit, implicit part, your focus is here on this point. This is your ith point and n plus 1th point. So you in implicit your focus is on ith point and n plus 1th point. Okay, these are your focus points. But when you are having explicit scheme, this is your focus point where it is ith and nth point. So this happens in explicit and this happens in implicit. Okay. So when you're focusing at this point means spatial derivative along this and temporal derivative along this. So that is how t n plus 1 minus, so what are delta t is here. Okay. That difference and what are the spatial things are there. So this is I minus 1, I plus 1, I minus 1, I plus 1 at n plus 1. Okay, so you keep remember this. You maybe you make this understanding. Okay, whenever you are doing it explicit, you are always at n, and from that you do special and forward. Okay, because you cannot go by backward because both will be no in that case known kind of. So one should be unknown. Okay, so you are looking at what scheme accordingly you have to. So it appears that this then by the seeing at the definition of these terms, you can see that there are many unknowns. Okay, so there are many unknowns. There are many unknowns than there are many unknowns than knowns. Okay, many unknowns means more than two or more than two. Okay, two or more than two. Okay, so this is implicit. This means that this is implicit. Okay, and what does mean by the implicit is that you cannot simply calculate n plus 1 value and then go ahead with that. Okay, you have now unknown values at I minus 1, I plus 1. Okay, so all these locations I minus 1, I plus 1, you have all unknown values. So you need to find out these values simultaneously so that you can get the solution. So here implicit means you have to solve simultaneously this equation simultaneously this equation simultaneously this equation. Okay, this equation to get the uh, values of the nodal values, to get the nodal values. Okay, so we'll move ahead and Okay, so we had the boundary conditions and we had things like that. Okay, so uh, I'll just write it once again so that we can have the okay reason it again. So we had this equation del t is equals to alpha del 2t del x square, and boundary condition was boundary condition at left boundary at t 0 x is equals to 0 t, you had a some t left as a function of time, and at right boundary, so t at x is equals to l t, we had a this condition. What was that? K dt dx at right should be a plus h ht naught, sorry, t whatever the t right is given, and ht naught. Okay, so this was the equation, governing equation, and these were the boundary condition, and initial condition was given at all x and time 0 some initial condition. Okay, so t naught, say as a function of x. So this was the problem. So we wanted to use BTCS, okay, backward in time, central in space. So what we did, first we discretize the equation. So ultimately what we got, again I'll repeat here, delta t n plus 1 n is equals to alpha delta x square, okay, t I minus 1 n plus 1 minus twice ti n plus ti plus 1 n. Okay, now if you bring in these things in nice forms, okay, I term can be brought in, so you can have this delta t here, so you can have this alpha delta t delta x square, um, and you can have this ti n plus 1 minus ti n, okay, and here you can have ti minus 1 n plus 1 minus 2 alpha delta t delta x square ti n plus alpha delta t delta x square t I plus 1 n plus 1. These are all n plus 1. Don't forget. Okay. So whenever you are writing, is better to write in this here itself. Okay, whatever you are doing. So BTCS means you have to write n plus 1 on the top, I n plus 1, like that. Okay, anyway. So this can be arranged, I terms can be, taken at nth level, n plus 1 level terms can be taken in the near side, and they can be, so I minus 1. So I minus 1 term is, so let us say that this, let some gamma alpha delta t is equals delta x square is some gamma. So we can get gamma, right? This gamma t I minus 1 n plus 1. Okay. And then next we can get 1 plus 2 gamma t I. Okay. T I n plus 1. And we can get again negative gamma t I plus 1 n, and that has to be equals to t I n. Okay, this is the simplified form of this above equation. This is the equation. This is equation number 1. this equation number 1 is applicable for all the interior points. Okay, all the interior points. So we had, say, this thing, then all the interior points, like interior points means, suppose this is one point, excuse me, this is one point, this is another point, this is another point, like that. Okay, and we have these boundary points. These are boundary points. So left boundary, right boundary, and this interior. So we said this is 1, 2, I is equals to 1. This is, say, I is equals to 1, I is equal to 1, I is equals to 1. So this is I is equals to 1, and this is I is equals to capital N. So this is I is equals to 2, 3, 4, like that. And what are N? This is will be generalizedly N minus 1. The previous point will be N minus 1 point. So this equation is for 2 to N minus 1. So this is for equation 1 for I is equals to 2, 3 up to N minus 1. Okay. How does it look like for I is equals to 1, for I is equals to 2, for example? And what about I is equals to 1 and I is equals to N? We have, for I is equals to 1, or I is equals to 1, what do we have? We have boundary condition, left boundary condition, left boundary condition. And what is that? Left boundary condition, T1, T1 is equals to a given value of TL, and this is has to be at N plus 1. So this is our equation number 2. And for I is equals to capital N, this is right boundary condition, right boundary condition, where right boundary condition is already K dt dx R plus HTR is equals to HT naught, and this dt by dx has to be calculated at N, has to be calculated at right R, that is nothing but nth point. So we have to have a backward difference here. And once we do that backward differencing, here we get for I is equals to N, we get an expression like negative K, and having this delta X and K brought in nicely, we get like this expression T N minus 1 over N plus 1, okay, plus 1 plus K H delta X, H, this is H, this is H, Tn N plus 1 is equals to T naught. Okay, this is the expression. Now here you see where from heat transfer we know that K by K H delta X is nothing but is equals to 1 by BO number. Okay, BO number is H delta X by K. Okay, BO number, you remember this, right? BO number was, okay, BO number is BO number, BI is BO number, BO number. So we'll write it in that form just to combine and simplification. It is more like simplification. So that becomes 1 my negative 1 over negative 1 over BI, negative 1 over BI Tn minus 1 N plus 1 plus 1 plus 1 bi Tn n plus 1 is equals to T naught. This is boundary 3. Okay. Now at I is equals to 2, I is equals to I is equals to 2, I is equals to 3, I is equals to like that. This equation looks like this equation number 1 will give you the different values. So what are the values it is giving? So I'll just arrange from 1 to like that. So at T1, I'll just use some another pane. At T at I is equals to 1, you have T1 n plus 1 is equals to TL. At I is equals to 2, what do you have? I is equals to 2, you will get negative gamma T1, I minus 1, so 2 minus 1, so 1 n plus 1 plus 1 plus 2 gamma T2 n plus 1 minus gamma T3 n plus 1, and we know Tin, so Tin is T2 n value is known value like this. So for I is equals to 3, you have negative gamma T2 n plus 1 plus 1 plus 2 gamma T3 n plus 1 minus gamma T4 n plus 1 is equals to T3 T3n. Okay. Now you can do similarly for many points, and finally you can do it for n minus 1 case. N minus 1 case will look simply like that. Okay. So n minus 1 term will look like, so we have I is equals to, suppose n minus 1. So n minus 1 will be gamma n minus 2 n plus 1 plus 1 plus 2 gamma T n minus 1 small n plus 1 gamma T n plus 1 T n minus 1 n, and I is equals to capital N. You have this boundary condition that you already written like 1 over Bi T n minus 1 n plus 1 plus 1 plus 1 over Bi Tn n plus 1 is equals to T naught. You see, so all the I points we have. Now we know the all I points. Now these are simultaneous equation. We have equation 1, 2, 3. Okay, we have this many equation. This is like one equation, this is like second equation, this is like third equation. Okay, this is like n minus 1 equation, n minus 1th equation, and this is like nth equation. Okay, nth equation. So we have total n equations, and these n equations need to be simultaneously solved. So if you see, look at the structure of these n equations, they look like something like a matrix form. Okay, so they look like a matrix form equation. They look like they can be arranged in this form. A, that is your matrix, and your solution vector, your and the right hand side. Okay, so this you can represent this in this format above one. So we'll just represent that. I'll just type those things here. I'll just try to write it, that complete matrix here. So we can have 1 here, and then we can have gamma here, okay, from the first equation. And then you can have 0, 0 at other terms, 0, 0, 0, 0, like this. Then from the second equation, if you see, you have negative gamma, and then at the center you have 1 plus 2 gamma. Okay, then you have negative gamma, like this, and all other terms, then we're landing to 0. Then if you go again, then first term, t, one term is missing in t, I is equals to 3, so it is 0 term, and you have t2 term there, but it is negative gamma. And then you have T3 term, that is 1 plus 2 gamma, and you have T4 term, that is negative gamma, and there is no T5 and T6, so that is 0. Okay, you can write as many this way, these equations here also you can write, okay, like that. So here we'll get some term, here we'll get some term, then here you'll get some term, here, okay, like this you'll keep on doing. So I'll just try to make it some n by n system so that I can give you some values, finally some values there. So we can have system like this with here 0, then here also 0. So all the zeros, all zeros here, here, here. Okay, like that. Then finally we can have similar. Finally we can have a system where the last and last but one I would like to write, which will be like negative gamma, and okay, this will be 0, and then we can have 1 plus 2. Here there will be some value. Okay, this I'll just write, put it this here, it will be some value. I'm not writing that 1 plus. These red ones will have some values. Okay, these regions will have values. These regions are values like gamma. It will be 1 plus 2 gamma, and then will be here also some value will be there. Okay, so minus gamma is there, and now we'll shift to here. So here we will get 1 plus 2 gamma for the next one, 1 plus 2 gamma, and here we'll get minus gamma, and finally you will get something like 1 by bi. Okay, 1 by bi, that is negative 1 by bi, and 1 plus 1 by bi, 1 plus 1 by bi, and all other terms here, here that some terms will be, I'll just write some 0 terms. So this is 0, 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 0, 0, 0, 0, 0, 0, 0, 0. Okay, here there will be some value. Here in this case it will be 0. So everything away from it, all will be 0. We'll just see the nature of the matrix, then you will get an idea. So here you have some value. Red means some value is there. That is nothing but, this is nothing but minus gamma here. Again, here's 1 plus 2 gamma, like that. I can write, but I'm just not writing. I'm just avoiding to write it now. So this matrix A looks like this. This matrix A from this one nth equation is looking like that, and we have this T1, right? Then we have T2, like the T3, okay, and then finally we have Tn, like this we have. Okay, so all these are n plus 1th values. So if you see T1 minus T2 gamma, T1 minus T2 gamma, and then you have then you have gamma minus gamma, and these things are there, and you can have at right condition, right side you can have this TL is a given value, and then you can have T2 given value, some T2 value was given, right? But that is some T1, T2, T3 were given. Those were nth level values. Those were nth level values. That difference here also it looks like same, but they are nth level values. Tn, these are all known values. Nth level values, known values. N means known. This means unknown. And this is known. Right hand side is known. So to get this, we solve this matrix and we can get this. We can use Gauss elimination method, for example. This is like a so you have a particular nature in this matrix. You see, in this particular matrix, you have very nice terms. You see, you have only terms in this direction. You see, you have terms in this direction, okay, upper lower like that. So I have to make it something like n by n, 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 8 9, 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 8 9. One thing you'll have to add here, such a way that it looks symmetric. One thing, one row is missing here, okay, that we'll have to say like that. Mm, okay, one row is missing from this like that. Okay, but what is you can see is diagonally there are diagonals, and in the sub diagonal there are there are elements. So in the diagonal, you see in the diagonal, let me just take white. In the diagonal 1, 1 plus 2 gamma, 1 plus 2 gamma, 1 plus 2 gamma, like that. So 1 plus 2 gamma, 1 plus bi, this will be there. And above that, there will be one layer which will be above diagonal. So these will be diagonal elements. Okay, n by n system. So this is n by n system. This is n by n system. So here 9 columns, 9 rows should be there. So if you see, there will be a diagonal. On that diagonal, you will have these many elements: 1, 2 gamma, to 1 plus 2 gamma, like that. And there will be upper diagonal element which will have only minus gamma, minus gamma, minus gamma, like that, minus gamma, like that. And the bottom diagonal will have this structure. Okay. So this particular nature is called a tridiagonal. Okay, because there are three diagonals. One diagonal, main diagonal. This is called as main diagonal. Main diagonal. Okay. Upper diagonal and lower diagonal or subdiagonal. So you have three diagonals. So this is called a tridiagonal matrix. Okay, this is called as tridiagonal matrix. And we see that in this tridiagonal matrix, along these diagonals only there are values. Other than that, everywhere there are zeros. Okay, apart from that, you have zeros everywhere. Okay, now you can solve this system by using Gaussian elimination method. What Gaussian elimination method does? You can use Gaussian elimination method. You already know that, right? Elimination method. So in the Gaussian elimination method, suppose we have a matrix. Suppose we have a n by n matrix. Then what do we do is we convert this, we reduce this matrix, such a way that it will become upper triangular matrix. Okay, such a way that it becomes upper triangular matrix, means it will, the elements will look like this. The elements will look like this. So we will have elements here, but in the rest of the places you will have zeros. Okay, so only upper upper elements will be there. You reduce such a way that this matrix, n by n matrix, become like upper triangular matrix. Okay, so and we solve for it. We get upper triangular matrix. Okay, now suppose we use that Gaussian elimination method. Uh, we might need to store all these elements. You know, all these elements need to be stored. This is a particular array, so you have to store all these values. These values must be stored somewhere in the memory, because there is a computation happening. This value is getting multiplied with this value, like that. And I mean, whenever you are doing reduction here, I'm sorry, I'll talk here. Okay, not that. Here you will do some manipulation such a way that you get only diagonal, and this value becomes 0, this value becomes 0, this value becomes 0, like that. And you will just try to keep diagonal and above diagonal elements. Okay, so you will do some manipulation here. So everywhere, all these zeros also you will have to do manipulation here. So you have to store this, all this full matrix coefficient. Okay, so in Gaussian elimination, we have to we need to store, we need to store full matrix. Okay, and we seen that the, but in the matrix, but many of the elements are 0. Many of the coefficients, you say, rather than the elements, you say coefficients are 0. Coefficients are 0. Okay, so storing them, but 0. So storing them is a meaningless. Storing them is meaningless. Unnecessary wastage of memory. Okay, there is an unnecessary wastage of memory. So the solution to this Gaussian elimination is something called as Thomas algorithm. Okay, Thomas algorithm. This is called a Thomas algorithm. In this Thomas algorithm, we do not store the 0 values, and we just, this is called as TDMA. This is also called as TDMA algorithm. This is also called a TDMA. What is the full form of this? This is called a tridiagonal. TD means tridiagonal. 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 M stands for matrix and A stands for algorithm. Okay, so you can say just simply TDMA, not repetition algorithm. It is proposed by the Thomas. So Then two names are there, TDMA or Thomas. Okay, both are same. So we'll see how TDMA is used to solve these equations. So to get an idea about the TDMA, I'll just make a generalization. Now we'll make little generalization. Okay. So I'll just write something here. I'll write diagonal elements by D1 and above elements by A1. Okay. So we'll just have notation. We'll use a notation system where D means diagonal element and A means above. Okay. Above diagonal and B means below diagonal. So this is a consistent. So D1 A1 and then I can write like B1, then D2 A2. Okay. Likewise we can write B3, B2 D3 and then we can have element here. Likewise you can keep on proceeding and suppose this is 1 2 3 4. So 1 2 3 4 like so. Two things will have to zero here, and I have here some things, and then I have, I mean here I also have something, here also have something, and then I'll have here something, here also something, and then a n minus 1 here, and like that I can write b n minus 1 here, and below this exactly dn, like that. Now it is like, and all other are zeros. Okay, all other are zeros. This is 0, this is 0, this is 0, this is 0, this is also 0, this is 0, this is 0, this is 0, this is 0, and this is 0, this is 0, this is 0, 0, 0, 0, 0, 0, 0, 0, 0. Okay, so you have a nice diagonal DDD. Let me just show. You have a star here, we have a star here, we have a star here. So star means we have elements there. We have star here, we have star, you have element. So we get nicely a diagonal D1, D2, D3 up to Dn minus 1, Dn, B1, B2, B3, Bn minus 1, A1, A2, A3, An minus 1. Okay. So if, so this is exactly the upper one. Okay. This is not different than the upper one. Rather than putting any values here, we are trying to get a generalized. What is TDMA? Okay. That we are trying to do. And here you can have, say, then x1 for example, then x2, like that. You can have many, and you can have finally x n minus 1 and x n. Okay, this can be there, and then you can have in right side, let's say I write it like r1, r2, some values, and rn minus 1 and rn. Okay, now what Thomas algorithm does? Okay, so first, this is a Thomas algorithm, a two-step algorithm. So there are two steps. Okay, two steps. First step is called as reduction to upper triangular form. First step is called reduction to upper triangular form. Okay, this is like a Gauss elimination only, but it doesn't store. We'll see why it doesn't store the elements. Triangular form. we have to reduce in a upper triangular form. So how do you reduce in upper triangular form? In case of Gauss elimination method, what do we do is we write like this: d any I at d I means, you can say d I means any d 1 2 2 3 like that, any d d1 d2 d3. This d1 d2 d3 can be equals to written like di minus bi bi multiplied by a I minus 1. Okay, bi multiplied by a I minus 1 di. This is what you do in your Gauss elimination, right? You do in your Gauss elimination like that. You take the di value, then you take the bi value, and the di minus 1 value you divide by 1, say the central value. You take the first value as central and we keep on dividing. So we get, this is for done for I is equals to, this is a general equation you have to use, for I is equals to 2 3 up to n, okay, this is up to n, this is up to n, up to last boundary point. You have to keep on calculating d1 d2 d3 d4 d5 d6 d7 d8 d9, okay, like this. And similarly you calculate di, so you'll have to also calculate ri's. So ri will be equals to ri minus bi into bi into ri minus 1 okay, divided by di minus 1. So what does ri? Ri means, suppose this is ri, suppose here is ri. To calculate ri, this ri value minus bi value, whatever bi value is there, and ri minus 1. So ri minus 1 divided by di minus 1 value, that will give you the ri right hand side value. Okay, that is how we change the matrix. Now what we want to do is, we want to make b1 0, b2 0, like that. So to make this is a general procedure. Okay, so in order to do that, this d i's will keep change, ri will keep change of that. And then second step is, so this is the first step, you can try doing that. Then second step is called as back substitution. Okay, second step is called as back substitution. Back substitution. Okay, so you see, you have this value. I mean, this is similar to Gauss elimination, but we don't store. That is what. So we have this x1, x2, suppose x3. So what do you know? By this x3 is equals to r3. Yeah. Suppose this value, this value star multiplied by this star multiplied by x3 will be equals to r3. It means that x3 is equals to r3 divided by star value. Like that, x3 is known. Now here you see, you get another equations, that is in x2 and x3. So star multiplied by x2 plus star multiplied by x3 is equals to r2. But x3 is known, so x3 goes here, you calculate again x2. So you see, you back substitute, you keep on back substituting here. Now you get first equation is star x1 plus star x2 plus star x3 is equals to r1. Now we know that x2 is known from this equation and x3 is already known from the previous equation, and we get x1. So you see, back substitution, we go backward and keep on substituting. So that back substitution algorithm is as follows. That back substitution, so in that back substitution we calculate xn is equals to Rn divided by Dn. You see, that is what we were doing in that. And this is for first time for, and then for I is equals to n minus 1. Now you start going backward, n minus 1 to 1. Okay, you have to start from n minus 1, then n minus 2, like that to up to 1. Okay, it is not like I is equals to 1 to n minus 1. It is I is equals to n minus 1 to n minus 1 to 1. That you have to remember, and that has to be calculated at xi equals to Ri minus Ai divided by Di, okay, and multiplied by, this is multiplied by xi plus 1. Okay, that is how you have to do. Ai multiplied by xi plus 1. Okay, now if you use this one, you will get complete solution of that. First, you will get a reduction of the this triangular this matrix into this complete matrix will be converted into upper triangular matrix. Upper triangular matrix means this matrix. Upper triangular means you will get this upper triangular. This will, you will get upper triangular like this. Okay, and all the below diagonal elements will be 0. So it means that your first value will be calculated xn is equals to Rn divided by Dn, and from n minus 1 to 1 we'll keep on substituting using this value. You please check, you will get, keep on getting those values, xn minus 1, xn minus 2 up to x1. You'll keep on getting those values here. Okay, so how do we solve now? That is the part of the algorithm. Okay, so algorithm is very simple. The algorithm is like this. Now I'll just write algorithm and we'll stop. Algorithm to solve. Okay, so first thing first, as this is an unsteady problem, you have to do initialization. Initialization of initial conditions. So for initialization for okay, not only initialization, it also has a declaration. Suppose you have an initialization declaration, okay, variable declaration. You have to declare some memory value, I mean some variables, okay, variable declaration. So let me just first start with variable declaration, and then I'll say initialization, because many students, they were saying they are now they want some programming this thing. Tomorrow's class I will try to discuss about programming also. So here the variable declaration, variable declaration. So when you declare the variables, what are the variables? You have variables like tn, this will be some array, tn array. You have some tn plus 1 values, so you have tn plus 1 array. Okay, so these you have to specify. In this array you have to give some value, so you can specify ti, this is equals to 0. Initially you will have to specify, this is called initialization. Some length you will have to give, you will have to give time, what is the time, or you will have to specify what are the n values, small n, what are the coefficients, a coefficients, Okay, above coefficients, bottom coefficients. Sorry, no. In that matrix, you see, in the matrix we have these coefficients. We have to give that, declare and give the values of that. Initialize those values. So B value you will have to specify. Then you will have to specify D values. So all the values, known values, you will have to specify. So similarly, you will have to specify dx, maybe dt, delta t. You will have to specify maybe alpha, gamma. Okay, those things. So gamma will come from kh, and t naught you will have to give whatever t naught is there. BO number maybe you will have to give. Okay, BO number can be calculated from this the ratios itself. Okay, like this you will have to give. So this is like variable declaration. Initially, what are the known variables? This is you have to declare and give those values. Okay, what if they are integers? You declare as integers, floats, real numbers, or whatever. So accordingly, you declare those and give their values also. Once you've done that, then first thing first is to initialize. Initialize means you apply boundary condition, initial boundary condition. Initialize means apply initial condition. Apply initial conditions. Okay. What is the initial condition here that you should apply? What are the initial condition here? You should apply here. Okay. So what is that initial condition? Initial condition runs from I is equals to 1 to 1 to n, right? It has to run for I is equals to okay. Uh, so that I mean you can have both. You can I give I because that corner point will be same values in the beginning and the boundary conditions also given. So you can have ICs for I is equals to 2, 3 like that to n minus 1. You can give these values Ti, Tn I should be equals to T naught like that, or Ri values to be equals to Tn I. Okay, these are the known things. These are the known things at all these values, and Ri also known, right hand side also known. Those values you have to specify for I is equals to 2 to n minus 1. Okay. Then third step is time stepping. Once you initialize, then you have to go for time stepping. So third step is time stepping. This is called a time stepping. Once initialization done, afterward there is no need to initialize again. Okay, once it is, you have to start with those values. That is called as initialization. You have to start first with that. So for time stepping for you can have let's say now L is equals to 1, 2 like that up to all the points like m points for example. You have to, or total number points n. Okay, you can say n or m, whatever. So now I'm just changing the indexes, so there should not be repetition, so I'm just changing L to m, I to 1 and n to m. So you can call a function which is called as tridag, TRID DIAG. Okay, call this function, which function will take the values of number of time steps, BO number, and all the values like gamma, A, B values, and D values, diagonal values, and R values, and X values. Okay, all the information which is needed for solving tridiagonal, and this we will solve. So in this tridiagonal, you will have a for for I is equals to, or now I'll just change the indexes. For j is equals to, you can change the indexes, okay, so that there is no confusion. 2 to n, 2 to n, maximum 2 to n. What we can do is that t boundary condition, t n plus 1 1 is equals to tl, and x1 is equals to t n plus 1 1, okay, and t n plus 1 j is equals to xj, okay, and for I is equals to 1 to n, you have tn, tni is equals to t n plus 1 I, okay. So this TRIDAG will do all the calculations, it will give you, and then you will implement this. You will finally calculate this. This is boundary condition and left boundary condition. Okay, right boundary condition is already there in the matrix. Left boundary condition is you have to assign here, and accordingly you have to calculate x1, t and j values. Okay, you have to keep on calculating tj values, tj n plus 1 values, those will be nothing but xj values. Okay, xj is a solution, okay, that is nothing but t. In that case you are representing by x, but it is essentially t. So we'll have to just substitute whatever the solution xj we got, we have to put it in the this variable, and uh, you have to just update whatever the n values, you have to update to this, and then again you have to go back. So when it comes to new value, the nth value will become whatever the obtained values now, okay, then it will again calculate t n plus 1 value. Okay, you are understanding this? So suppose this is n is equals to 1 case, then t1 will become, this new values. So these new values, now t1 values will be used in another equation to calculate t2 values. Then t2 will be calculated. This will t2, this keep on, this t2 values will be substituted into the fresh values, because tni will be initially 0, so that you have to again update here, so that tn will have a new values in this time stepping loop. So fourth step will be, you will have to say n is equals to n plus 1, that is t is equals to t plus delta t. Okay, you will have to put some delta t, keep on changing, and then that is this nothing but this one, tn is equals to tn plus 1. I'm just writing it again. For I is equals to 1 to n, okay, and go back to 4, and go to 3 till convergence. Okay, so this is a subroutine. We will see tomorrow what this subroutine consists of. So hope you understand this. Okay, here we are giving at initially, here everything is calculated, whatever we have shown, those two steps, reduction into upper triangular matrix and back substitution will be done in this TRIDAG function. This is a function, okay, this is a function. We haven't shown what is there in the function. So this function will calculate all the values of xi. All the values of xi will be calculated. Once you have calculated all the xi's from 2 to n, we have to calculate x1. Those x1 is nothing but coming from the boundary condition, and boundary condition is that tn plus 1 at 1 is equals to tl. So that tn plus 1 value now we are substituting here. So that is nothing but x1 is equals to tn plus 1 1. That is a boundary value. So x1 is now known. So all the values from I to n are now substituted here. So tn plus 1 becomes all xj values. All these xj values we have now calculated. So just a variable declaration. Whatever there is in x, we are just giving to t. Okay, just storing, just logic to store the values. And then again we say that old values is equals to what are the now currently obtained all the new values. These are all new values, currently obtained new values. And then once again you go here, the currently obtained values will be used as a known values and they will calculate unknown values. Okay, currently obtained values again will be assigned to that. With that currently obtained values, you will calculate another n plus 2, n plus 3, n plus 4, like that. Keep on calculating till you get some convergence, and once you get a convergence, you stop. But we haven't shown what are there inside tridiagonal. Inside tridiagonal, we have these two steps. We have these two steps, nothing more than that. We have these two steps. Okay, we have these two steps in that. We have these two steps. We have these two steps in this subrouting called tridag. So tomorrow we'll see what are the content of tridag algorithm, subroutine, and then you try to write a program for this. And tomorrow I will show you how to write a program for one simple case, that is explicit scheme. Okay, for explicit scheme I will try to show you how to write a program, and then for such a cases you keep on making your hands dirty with programming, and with the passage of time you will get. Okay, just by looking at the codes you may not get an idea unless and until you implement the programming there. Already you know the C language, so it should be possible. Okay, and regarding the exam and other thing, tomorrow I will discuss in the last 10 minutes. So in between, please don't ask me. And second thing is, some students were asking me for the extension of the project submission. Okay, because they are saying that students having exam on 14. Okay, so will you, somebody will tell me what is the expected date for them for submission? Hello.
Sir, what about 16th or 17th?
See, I don't have any problem. I mean, you can give it, but you will have exam also, na? Yeah. So see that. Okay, I'm not forcing. So if you can give on 16th, I'm just putting 16 as that date. Huh? Okay.
It's just my opinion. What about others? I have. If someone else wants to change the dates, please tell.
I would suggest you to submit before this test one. Okay, because in the test two and those phases, again you will get some another assignment. So what I suggest is that before that test 2 comes, you should have second assignment completed. Then for that last phase, you will not have a lot of submissions from my side. Okay, so that last period will be free for you to do. I'm sure there will be a lot of load on those times. So my always suggestion is that to do things first, so that we have enough time in the later. Okay, so that end semester exam is generally of some important nature, so it might have the large content of the syllabus or like that in many subjects. And then last moment many people will take test, many other test, quizzes or something like that. So you'll be completely busy in those things. Maybe some other stuffs also will come into picture, and you may not have time. So I, my humble request is that don't prolong your your submissions. Okay, so 16 is a good number, no problem. If you give me before test 1, because during test one time, I will have enough time to go through the assignments. And then before test two, you should give me the second assignment. So this is a straightforward. So I don't think there is a lot of challenge in solving this assignment. Only thing is you have to just give some time, 1 or 2 hours, dedicated 1 or 2 hours. That's it, nothing more than that. You have to sit for 3 to 4 hours like that and read and just go through those assignments. So 16, I will just put it 16. Is it fine to others? Okay, I assume that is it fine? Nobody's saying anything. Yeah. Okay. Somebody saying yes, sir. Okay. Uh, okay. Okay, then I'll just make it 16. Okay, then, huh? Chalo. Bye bye.